Today, we're going to explore the idea that AI can assist but cannot replace the human spark. The conversation with Peter Gunn highlights the need for balance between technology and creativity. From exploring Peter's band, his 9 to 5 work, and poetry, it is those with the true passion for creation will persist. How we do anything is how we do everything. And today, we see that in the way Peter has been a parent, served in the military, and lives his life now serving others. All right. So welcome to the Work Sucks, but I Like It podcast. Today I've got a cool guest here. His name is Peter Gunn, and he's an Air Force veteran, a poet, and a musician. Peter, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Anthony. It's a pleasure.
Now, awesome. So, Peter, describe to us your work today. How do you define work? What are you doing for work?
Oh, if you refer to my 9 to 5 job, I do the same thing that I did in the Air Force when I was still in uniform. So I repair the electrical systems of fighter jets. You could consider me an aircraft electrician.
That's super cool. So, what do you do outside of your 9 to 5 work then?
Oh my gosh, I do a lot of things. I guess you could say I'm an entrepreneur. I'm spinning several plates at once normally and working on several things. Yeah, I have a graphic novel I'm working on. I'm redoing an audiobook. We hired about 30 actors, voice actors for that, and adding sound effects, so we're making it sound like a movie. And then, of course, you heard the album that just came out, and we're working on our next album as well.
So Peter's also a musician here, and as you guys know, I'm a drummer in the Nowhere Kids band, and so Peter sent me some song lyrics in his album, and I loved this song lyric. I forget what song, Peter, sorry, but it was "For every dream, a creator must break." Can you describe a little bit about that? I really like that.
Well, no one's going to pay you for your art. So you're going to have to beg, plead, and steal just to make a song sometimes. You're going to have to get up early before work or stay late after work to get the job done. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. That's very cool. So when's that album coming out?
The album's out right now.
Oh, right on. So
Yeah.
okay, yeah, perfect. Available. Where can people go to listen to it?
It's on all the music platforms. Yeah. Called Hazing Hades.
Sorry, what's the name of your band so the people in the audience can hear?
The name of the band is The Angelics.
Awesome. And what's the album?
The album is Hazing Hades.
Oh, beautiful. Awesome. Yeah, check it out. So, Peter, I guess I want to start with kind of like it's interesting when we make the distinction of our 9 to 5 work and then I guess our kind of superhero work outside of the 9 to 5. Why do you think there's that distinction today? And I guess, what are your thoughts on that? Why do we categorize work as 9 to 5 and everything else is maybe not work?
Well, a lot of people live, from work and they go home and they do nothing. Okay, so it is a 9 to 5. It becomes their life. They'll scroll on TikTok or they'll watch TV, their favorite programs, and they do nothing. They're not adding value to this world or to themselves, and that's why the entrepreneur is usually looked up to because he's someone's actually he usually has a 9 to 5, but he's doing so much more than that too as well.
So walk us through that moment when you realized your 9 to 5 wasn't enough, I'll say work that what you were putting out into the world. What made you realize that, hey, I got to be a musician, I got to be a poet, I got to do all these things? What was that like aha moment? Can you walk us through that?
Well, my drive it stems from an NDE I had as a child. I basically died when I was about 7 years old. I had succumbed to heat stroke, and I had an angel tell me my job isn't done. I have to go back, and then I woke up back in my body.
That's amazing. So ever since then, you've been driven to fulfill your life's potential here. That's amazing. No, super cool. So with the Air Force, you must have learned a lot of lessons with the rigor and stuff. I guess walk us through kind of some skills that you picked up in your work ethic and your work habits from being in the Air Force.
Well, I would say I'm a very prompt person normally, so and that sort of culture, military culture, appealed to me. I understood it, and I actually was integrating that style into my lifestyle before I went in the military.
So walk us through. Sorry, I was not in the military. So what is like one thing that stands out that you've translated over to, I guess, civilian life now?
Ooh, my understanding of civilians, it's thrown out the door because I don't understand them because you usually have a higher work ethic pushed into you, as a veteran, even if you just serve 4 years and then you get out and it's like civilians speak a different language.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I didn't know the language. I didn't mean to insult your.
No, it's okay. You soon learn to how to put your own wants and needs to the side and then get the work focus as a team and get the job done.
Another thing you had in your profile, it says you said a person who has that inner spark or connection to the muse will create, even if it sucks. What do you mean by that? How do you work through the things that suck, right? This is the work sucks, but I like it podcast. So walk us through some times of sucking and how you work through it.
Well, I had a youth come up to me and ask the question, because why should I learn how to draw or create, or why should I be a creator when I could have AI do it? Now, there are a lot of people like that, but they obviously don't have the spark. A person that has that inner spark to create is going to get up and do it no matter what. It's almost like an inner drive. It's nothing's going to stop you from doing it.
How do you like suggest or tell people, coach them through people to find that inner spark? Yeah, you found it for yourself. How could you encourage others to find their spark, if you will?
If anyone ever had a moment of time when they actually were doing something they were passionate about and they lost track of time, that's a sign from the universe. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
I love that. No, that kind of a flow state, just grooving with everything. That's awesome. So, how did you realize this sort of like flow with the universe when becoming this poet, this musician? Like, how did you get into that kind of work?
Well, it was sort of by accident as far as becoming a musician. When I started redoing my audiobook, and I told like I said, I was going to make it sound like it's a movie, and a movie has a soundtrack. So I started looking for a band. And that's when I came across 3 guys in Germany that were willing to help me out. And, we did 10 songs together. I hired them as contractors. We did 10 songs together, and we hit it off so well that we decided to keep going and form the Angelics. Yeah.
Cool. So you guys, I noticed on your profile. So we met, by the way, on Podmatch, community for podcasters to meet, guests and hosts and whatnot. This band was in Germany. Is that what you had?
Yes.
Yeah, right on. Where are you currently residing?
I'm in South Carolina right now.
Oh, right on. How do you guys practice then? Like,
Well, okay, it's usually me writing the song first, and I'll come up with some good riffs to put in the song. Then, Max Lang, the keyboardist, I'll usually send it to him first. He composes it because he's got a PhD in music. Okay, and I believe he used to teach at a university out there as well. Okay, and then it will go to Ellis Richter. He does the drums and he'll add special effects. And then it goes to Leo Sather, the lead vocalist, to add the his vocals to it. And then sometimes we'll come back to me as well, and I'll add my vocals.
gotcha. So interesting process how you guys kind of move it to the next person, next stage. Have you all ever jammed together in the same room, or is
Yes,
that
yes. There are plenty of songs where, like with Digital Dungeon, you'll hear all of us yelling it. And what was supposed to be a 1 to 2 hour event turned into a 16-hour event because everything went wrong. Yeah, we had mic problems. I broke a guitar string. I had to restring my guitar. So it was ridiculous. Yeah. And I'm not bored singing. So 2 days after that of yelling into a mic, I couldn't talk. I lost my voice.
so, Peter, so you work during the day, you're a poet, you're a writer, you're a musician at night. How do you like motivate yourself to do this work all day long? Right? I love how you talked about how most people today look at work as up 9 to 5, and then I go home and be on TikTok. How do you find the motivation when you leave, I guess, your other work and put on your other hats, if you will? How do you motivate yourself?
Well, everyone is able to get up and get their kids, let's say, get their kids ready for school, and then get themselves ready for work. They get themselves to work and themselves home and make sure the kids come home. So then keep doing it. See, that's when it stops. That people stop and like, okay, I'm not regimenting my life anymore. You have to keep regimenting it. So then, once the kids are taken care of, and then now the next hour is for you. Write that novel, write that song, do what you feel passionate about.
So what's a tactic that you could share with the audience of how you regiment that? Like use a calendar, you use what do you do to do that?
Well, place a value on certain things like checking emails. How valuable is it? Because people are quick to sit there for an hour. But in reality, you only need to check the first few emails, so maybe 10 minutes, and then get up and walk away and go to the next task. If it's important enough, they'll get back to you.
No, so do you dedicate like certain spaces? Do you have a place where you write, a place where you do music? Does that help with that motivation?
Yes, yes, it does. Yes, it does. Well, I would say not necessarily space, but time, certain times. Yeah.
So why is this work important to you, Peter? Why do you feel so driven, building onto that experience you had as a 7-year old? Why is it so important? Why do you still have this drive today to do what you do?
I have a angelic mandate to fulfill. My job's not done, and I feel I have to wake up humanity. Listen to the songs. You'll understand.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'll definitely have to give 'em a listen, absolutely. So, how I guess through your music, you're trying to empower others to sort of wake up as well, right? I guess, what are the ways you trying to, I guess, wake people up? And why do people need to be woke enough from the work that they're either doing or not doing?
Well, let's go back to 2020, okay?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and we saw how quickly people, donned a mask without question, okay? That's was a waking up point for me when I saw I always like to think the best of people, but just to see how asleep they were, it scared me.
Wow. So how do you, I guess, navigate? There's a lot we can unpack there, right? With people putting up masks. I look at it as like their phone now, right? The mask hasn't gone away. Their phone is right at their face now. How do you get people to put down their phone, to drop their mask so you can talk to them? I mean, art's a very great medium for that, right? With music and your books that you're writing. I guess how do you work with others to again drop their mask, drop with their phone?
Well, like with the graphic novel I'm writing right now, I'm using that format of the graphic novel to appeal to Joe Sixpack because he doesn't want to pick up a 4-inch thick book at the library with a layer of dust on it. Okay, but it's to help let people know what's going on in this world.
So, what would you say you're most proud of your work today? As you look back on your life, you look forward, what are you most proud of the work that you've done, that you're doing, what you're about to do?
Well, after my children, I would have to say the music because the feedback I've gotten from it and just the way people say it makes them feel, it feels like my life's purpose.
So why did you pick music? I'm curious, as a musician asking another musician. Why pick music as the medium?
There's it appeals to several layers of the soul. It doesn't hit you in one way. It hits you several different ways at once.
No, I love that. So is your like, because I guess I picture music today just very electronic, very just computer AI, write me a song. It's like, but music is that interaction, like that 16-hour experience you had, right? That's, I mean, despite it being a shit show, like that's part of the experience, right? Music is great like that, Do you see yourself like, I guess, what are your thoughts on live music today?
Well, I think it's going to go out of favor, and as much as people don't want to hear that, let's look at Gen Alpha, Gen Z. Okay, how hard is it to just get them out of the house? Okay, they'll watch the live music on their phone, and when you ask them, "Do you care if this is AI or if this is live?" They don't. All they care about is do they like the beat? Do they like the music?
I mean, that's sort of a scary thought, right? So I feel like music is a great medium to touch their soul, to awaken it.
Well, okay, we need to reinvent ourselves as musicians, okay, and rethink it. Okay, let's look at your traditional music video. Tens of thousands of dollars to shoot, what, 1 minute, 2 minutes? Okay. But now with AI, if we use AI in our advantage as a tool, it could be much cheaper and get our music out to hundreds more people.
So, with that, because the tool is so readily accessible, how do you navigate now? There's so many. I pictured like a sea of voices. Everybody's sort of like, look at me, listen to what I'm playing." How do you, I guess, sail that, if you will, or surf that current, or whatever sort of analogy we want to use here?
The cream will always go to the top. So the thing that rings home, rings true for the most people, they'll gravitate towards it.
Interesting. So, how do you like walk us through how you envision that with your music? Like, how do you get people to see that, how you're seeing it, how you're feeling it?
Well, we just got news about a week or two ago that we're going to be able to transfer all our songs into 963 hertz, which then you have a spiritual connection at that frequency, and that's one of the things that's going to, I feel, make us or uh, stand out more.
So you have the auditory aspect. What about the visual aspect? What about you talked about the videos with AI and whatever else. What are your thoughts on like engaging people from a visual standpoint?
Well, speak to them in a story. So the traditional hairband, shot here, make them look good. No, no, speak to them in a story.
Cool. So what I guess what stories are you sharing through your music?
Well, if you listen to the song "Targeted," it's about a man that's targeted by the CIA for letting out information he shouldn't have, and they're chasing him.
Nice, nice, nice. What is one skill that you're working on today, Peter? So in the podcast, I like to share with the audience, that success is not good luck, it's good skills. What is one skill that you're working on to promote the work that you're doing?
Well, going on podcasts like this, I'm an introvert. I don't like doing it, but I'm doing it and developing my skills to get out there. Yeah.
Man, that makes two of us. So how do you get ready, right? Because I'm the same way. Before this podcast, I'm deep breathing. Like, how do you get ready to go on a podcast show? I want to learn here. Why don't you, can you give me some tips
Well,
here?
one thing that helps me a lot, and also because I have PTSD, is ashwagandha. It calms you down, and CBD.
Cool. Yeah, 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 yeah. Right on. Right on. So, what's your vision with the podcast? Because I'm going to be honest with you, Peter. Podcasting is relatively new, even though I started this show. I'm really passionate about sharing people's work, and what they do and overcoming the parts that suck. I guess, what are your thoughts? You've been in the podcasting arena more than I have, longer than I have. What are your thoughts with podcasts today? Are they helping? Are they reaching people? Like, what are your thoughts on them?
Oh, I know they're reaching people. I've had people come up to me. First, they look at you funny. You're like, "Hey, you got that guy from that person's show?" I'm like, "Yes, yes, I am." So I know I'm reaching people, but it's all about just one person. If I could change the life direction of just one human soul, you can't place a value on that.
I think that's where we kind of need to take conversations today, right? Especially when you look at social media, we kind of like dilute our message to appease all these thousands of people. And I like the work when you go towards the one person in front of you, right? I think that's really important today, and we're sort of missing out on that. But that's why I like the podcast show personally, because I can talk with people like yourself that are passionate about sharing things and the work that they do. I think that's really cool.
I tend to take more of a military mindset when it comes with our music, because we're so small, we could never take on the big bands. But I look at it as being a flake maneuver on the side and catching them by surprise, not see us come.
So, building along that, how do you then define success? I guess how do you define success today in the work that you do? Let's start with your 9 to 5. Let's start with 9 to 5. How do you define success with you being the electrician?
Well, you're good at your job. You're known to do a good job, and I mean, I mean, be perfectly honest, success to me is not at a job. It's, do you feel happy? Are you following your heart? That's where success comes from.
So then as you apply it to music and the poetry, how do you have the similar definition then of success?
Oh yeah, if I could reach people with the poetry, I mean, I've already brought people to tears with my poetry.
So what's your goal? Because I find this is an interesting sort of talking point with people. Again, we differentiate sometimes between our 9 to 5 and our entrepreneurial activities. Is the work for you to separate the two, to combine the two? I mean, I guess what are your thoughts on that? Because I find myself in a similar situation, right?
If I never make enough money to live off of on my entrepreneurial endeavors, I don't care. I'll keep doing it. Yeah. And that's one thing people admire about the entrepreneur. They're willing to risk it all, bet on black, and just see what happens.
Yeah, I feel the same way, especially with this podcast. I had a little stint of YouTubing and I bought all this equipment, this cameras and everything else. I'm like, I just love this. I love trying to get up here like you, I'm an introvert. So like talking in front of a camera is scary as hell, and trying to like to get better at it. So that's amazing. What are some we talk about phone with areas of concern today, with people working. What other things are you kind of concerned with the younger generations coming up and doing work today? What do you see? Especially you as a parent, what are you seeing with the younger generations and their work ethic, I'll call it?
Unfortunately, it's not being taught at home. Back in my day, we had chores to do, and if you didn't do it, you get in trouble. Whether it meant the strap or a branch or the wooden spoon, but now that's not happening. So the military and the industries are having to teach the children.
So why do you think that? Why are the parents, and I don't mean to call it out, but I guess building on that, why are the parents not doing their kids sort of the justice of raising them like that?
It's not just one answer. I mean, look at your single mom, might have to work 2 or 3 jobs. She's not there to discipline the kids, And then there's society as a whole. I mean, there's some places where if you spank your kids in public, you'll get thrown in jail.
Oh, that's true, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. There's that reception too. So walk us through then, because I can only imagine having kids where at times it sucked, right? How did you navigate that and work with your kids on whatever you were working on?
Well, I involve them with my work. Like, my daughter's very good at art. I hope one day she will take over for me with that. And, with my boys, I teach them discipline to get up at a certain time on their own. Yeah. And teach them the consequences to their actions. That's one thing that seems to go by the wayside right now. They don't get, reprimanded when they don't do their work.
Yeah, I mean, there's a definite like lack of feedback, right, to people these days. We're afraid of, again, like you said, if you're going to spank someone in public, you could go to jail, right? So, what do you recommend, for feedback? What are things that you've used that have been successful for feedback on change, if you will?
Well, keep everything at home. You know, um, Let your children and your family know that it stays in the house. So that means spankings, but also means praises. You know, yeah, keep it in the house. There's a lot of people that let themselves out too much, and then society gets into their family, into their life, and it just destroys it. A lot of podcasters do that too, or YouTubers.
What do you mean by that? Can you go elaborate a little?
Well, you see YouTubers that YouTubing from home, and then all of a sudden you see the husband in the background. Then the husband gets in on it, and then the kids get in on it. It isn't always a good thing.
Gotcha. So what are your thoughts then with technology then with today? Like, I mean, we know we've kind of talked about it from the perspective of the band with AI and things. I guess like how do you navigate technology today as I'll call it a tool, if you will. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as far as children go, limited. Yeah, yeah. Gives them time to be kids.
Nice. And then now you as an adult, working 9 to 5, again doing your other awesome things as well. How do you see technology?
use it as a tool. You know, a lot of people like you treat it let's say it's a gun. People don't well, there are people that blame the gun, but you have to blame the person behind the gun, correct?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really
so
like that.
think of it that way. AI is a tool. You can use it for good or for bad.
I guess I want to circle back around just to make it clear for the audience. So this is the Work Sucks, but I Like It podcast. Walk us through, Peter, when let's start with your poetry, right? So when work sucks, when you're trying to grind out this plot, this story, this character, and it's not going right or whatever, what do you do to get through it? What's the work that you do to make it not suck?
Well, a lot of times in the mornings, I'll meditate first. So it gets me in my zone so I can think clearer. And that helps a lot. It helps alleviate, I'd say, 80% of my writer's block if I'm in the zone
That's amazing. So when do you do your best writing then?
in the mornings, usually about 3 a.m.
One thing like to kind of talk about, success is not a matter of good luck, it's good skills. So what is a skill that you are working on personally, and then what is a skill that you're going to recommend to the audience today on to make their work not suck?
Well, I developed LLP, which is linked to lyrical poetry. It was to bring poetry into our current century because, you like to say, take for instance, Shakespeare. How many people need to have it explained to them? Okay. And then you start reading some of the old poetries, the epics of the past, they don't understand it because there's no context. So LLP is close to rap music. You still recognize it as poetry. It has a ebb and flow, and it appeals to the younger generations, Gen Z, Gen Alpha. I mean, how many of them will memorize a rap song beginning to end like it's nothing? So they'll understand it.
So using LLP, I guess what are your thoughts on the skill that they're developing? What's
Well, it takes so much concentration that it will develop their focus. I've had a lot of veterans with PTSD like myself tell me when they try writing in that fashion, their symptoms go away.
That's amazing. So where can people find out more information, Peter, on that?
Well, if you want to check out our album, you just go to your preferred music app, type in Hazing Hades, the name of the band is the Angelics, and you can go to my website. It's www.petergunn.net.
No, that's awesome. Well, Peter, thank you so much for your time today. I really had fun with this conversation, exploring, you being a veteran in the Air Force, a poet, a musician, a father, everything else. Thank you for your time. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you for having me on, Anthony.
And there's a wind that blows across the plains, and it sings, singing, these are the days of wheels and waves.
So, after listening to his music on Apple Music, first off, huge congrats on the album, Peter. Recording is no easy process, as our band, the Nowhere Kids, have had similar experiences of long recording days. Music can wake up humanity, so go take a listen if you're into some rock music. And so to wrap up, for me, the skill today from Peter that I learned from him was really the importance of continuing to strengthen how we regiment our work throughout the day. It doesn't just stop when we put the kids on the bus to school or come home from work. We have to be more than our 9 to 5 work to live an engaging and fulfilling life. And with that, thanks for listening in, and we'll catch you next time on the show.